Greetings and welcome to another episode of Pop's Collection. I'm Ron Tweedy. Joining me is Pops, and today we're going to be talking about the hopefully series finale of She-Hulk: Attorney at Law.
That's right, episode 9, which is actually the name is something that we've been saying since episode 1. Whose show is this? Welcome, everybody. Glad you're with us. I can say grab your coffee and happy Pumpkin Spice Month, because now is the time, right?
Sure.
So, yeah, whose show is this? Well, it started off as you had kind of pegged at the beginning, or hoped it would be. Jen's in prison, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, the DODC's got her, and they're going to release her with a device that will stop her from hulking.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought, okay, this is Ron's got it all figured out. But nope, nope. It's it. I can't even begin to decide about this episode.
Okay.
There was just so much different stuff going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I no continuity, or do you feel like there was continuity in the episode?
Within the show or within the episode itself?
Oh, well, within the episode itself.
I mean,
Um,
I guess I don't know.
it's hard to tell in what direction they were going to go, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing I will say is that at least the intro for the episode, I thought you would appreciate the fact that they did the
Oh,
almost
I
like a
loved it.
homage to the original Incredible Hulk series from the 1970s.
And it was actually for me, the most redeeming part of the entire series.
Yeah,
My most favorite part.
yeah,
You
yeah. That
know,
was well
that they
done, I
were,
think.
oh, yes. But it went downhill from there,
Right, right.
Again, we have another episode where there was a possibility to have something good, and they just didn't go there. Um, they just, this whole series has just been kind of demeaning for Jen. She loses, she can't Hulk out anymore. So now she loses her job. She has to move back in with her parents.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, her mom has changed her bedroom into an exercise room. All these things just, you know, her friends really, I know they're trying to help by, trying to find out who the Hulk King is, and,
Mm-hmm.
finding out about intelligentsia, which uh, kind of reminded me of Spanky and our gang,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the Woman Haters Club.
yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. They use a modern day term called incel, which stands for involuntary celibates. Basically, a bunch of angry young men who can't find wives because I would posit they're looking in the wrong place for them. But the
I would agree.
but the idea is that being the ultimate villain of the show is probably the most unoriginal, boring, and redundant, or not redundant, but like uh just completely boring the villains of anything we've seen, I think.
Um, I would say absolutely to that.
Yeah.
And I would also say that the CG
Mm-hmm.
for Abomination in this episode was awful at best,
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair.
you know. Um, and I thought we were going to get something interesting with Phelps hulking up, and then Bruce coming back, and
Yeah.
I thought, okay, maybe this will go somewhere. And then we get the total, okay, this is reality. Uh, we're stopping right here. I need to go to the source. And just to prove that, Kevin Feige really does not want to have anything to do with this show,
Mm-hmm.
he blows it off that it was all done by a machine
Yeah.
and not him.
Right.
You know, so it wasn't me, guys. It really wasn't me. It was this machine
Yeah. That
with
is
this
one way of looking at
robot.
it. Yeah. That's one way of looking at it.
I, I'm thinking like, okay, you got your out now. We
Mm,
know it's not that.
sure.
But again, the other nice thing was we got to see the original Daredevil costume again, which I still kind of like,
Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean it's not the greatest, but
Yeah.
uh I thought that was good. But there, I don't know what else is there to talk about with this episode,
Well, I think it is, you bring up the point is like, um, I think the point the writers were trying to make with the whole ending of it was that it was not intended to be like a regular MCU type of thing where, you'd have the big finale or whatever. Um, and part of that I can understand. I have sympathy towards that viewpoint where, you don't need a big spectacle and further along the whole multiverse saga or whatever. I get that. At the same time, I think the way that they decided to go was still terrible. So, like, I think both directions were terrible ideas. So, the first one where everybody comes back at the end, there's a big giant fight scene, everything like that. I mean, that doesn't really work for what the tone of the show is. I get that.
Exactly.
I agree. That's fine. At the same time, this
The
meta,
second ending,
yeah, that was just as stupid, if you ask me. So,
even more so.
I guess
Yeah.
and so to me, I guess the question I'm asking myself is, okay, well, I know both of those endings sucked. What would have been a good one? And I don't know the answer to that.
Well, again, because we're not sure of what's going to happen with this series.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we're both hopefully, it went from a comedy to the end there. It was a little bit of a horror thing
Mm-hmm.
when they were talking about a second season,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and so you really don't know in what how they're going to go with this.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that if they based it off of what the critics have said about this show, that's the last of it. But
Yeah.
they did also say something about a movie. Did you hear that?
Yeah. Well, I think the assumption is that she would make an appearance in. I mean, they clearly referred to Wakanda Forever in the movie. I mean, in the show, because
Yes.
you heard the drums of the
Yes.
theme of Black Panther. So then
Yes.
that's obvious. And of course, she talks about, when are we getting the X-Men, and all, asks Kevin all those questions. But
Yes.
yeah, I mean, to me, the next thing that you could theoretically put She-Hulk in would be Secret Invasion, maybe. If they're going to introduce the Fantastic Four, she could play a role in that.
Possibly, yes.
That's about it. I mean, I don't know.
Which, for me, I would hope that it would be a redemption, because again, she is a good actress,
Yeah.
and what they've given her as material for the show
Mm-hmm.
has just not really flown at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, and I think that's maybe what the show is missing is, I use the word telos a lot. Purpose, use, function, right?
Yes.
That is really the heart of the Iron Man story. Like, Tony finally finds out what he is for in that movie. It's not. It takes him, losing his heart, getting a new heart, and then finding out it wasn't just to be a billionaire playboy weapons manufacturer. It was to protect people and make things right, the things that have gone in the past that he's responsible for, to make them right and to make them right. That's kind of like Tony's redemption arc. I guess for me, um for Jennifer, I think the redemption arc for her would be, she first happens, by a freak accident, she gets these powers. And then at first she rejects them. Then she uses them to further her own personal career and just to get what she wants out of it. And I guess what I would have wanted to see is her to realize, hey, I have these powers now. I need to use them for good. And then, devote herself to that cause. And that really didn't happen. I guess
No.
that's what we should have seen, I think. So anyway.
Right. And good writers could have, if the theme of the show was going to be comedy, then a set of good writers or a group of good writers could have written the series in the way that, coming of age or whatever you want to call it, and still be funny. Which they didn't do. So
yeah,
unfortunately,
well, I mean,
that was an issue.
Yeah, if you want an example of that, I say both of the Ant-Man movies are very funny.
Absolutely.
And, that's done very well. So, but again, like I said, I think it goes against the current spirit of the age that, as a woman, you can be the girl boss and you can, have everything you want. And it's all about you doing your thing. And so obviously sacrificing for the greater good is the exact opposite of that story, essentially. So
yes,
I don't know. To me, I think that's where things got off on the wrong foot in the very first episode, and things did not get any better.
No, not through the.
Well, I take it back. The Daredevil episode actually was, pretty good. It was definitely the highlight of the series. But, I don't know. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with the direction they're taking Matt Murdock's character after the end scene.
No, me neither. No. Matt could not save the season finale.
No, he didn't. He wasn't supposed to, though. He wasn't meant to.
No, nope. And what they're trying to do, I don't know.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
If they're going to be consistent with Matt Murdock's character, they won't be an item in the next thing, whatever they appear in. So, and that's typical of Matt Murdock. So it's fine.
Yes, loves them and leaves them.
Yeah, very much so. Actually, it's
even in the comics, though, too.
Well, it's he loves them and then becomes too toxic for them to stay. Essentially, that's kind of what ends up happening. They can't just be either they're crazy like Elektra, or they just can't handle it like Karen Page.
Right. And didn't he? I don't remember, but in that series, didn't he also have something with Claire?
Yeah. No, actually, in the series he did not. I mean, they had like a little brief. Maybe they did a little bit, but it wasn't. It was actually
right.
Claire.
She right away knew he was too toxic for that.
Well, I mean, there's that. I don't know, because then she gets into a relationship with Luke Cage and it's pretty serious. So it's
yes,
which is actually comic accurate anyway. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah. But there's been multiple in the comics over the years. So.
Yeah, and unless they do some retconning, there are things we're going to actually miss out on. Like one of the more interesting ones is with Matt Murdock and Natasha Romanoff. So
yes, yeah, I kind of would. I think that would really be something, you know.
Yeah,
but they killed her off. Unless it's like you say, a retro. It's gonna.
Yeah, I mean, they brought Gamora back with for Guardians, so it's possible.
That is true.
Yeah,
that is true. Okay, well, yeah, I guess we'll just see on it. Now, I'm sure that the most I don't know what else you can say about this show. I think we've said pretty much most of it.
Yeah.
Uh, Probably the most highly anticipated moment uh, in our episodes is the rating of this show. I mean, everybody's just wondering.
Well, I don't think we rated any of the other Disney Plus shows, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, let's just say that this is definitely for me not a must watch.
No, it's definitely not a recommend for me. You could skip it,
No,
and a
if you
lot a
want to
lot of people
skip
did.
it,
Yeah.
or if you have insomnia and you're having trouble sleeping, you might try it.
No,
Might
I
help.
don't think it's boring. I just think it's bad.
Well, yeah, that's true. It is pretty ridiculous at a lot of times, most of the time, actually.
Yeah.
And they went true to form in the finale, you know. So I don't know. I'm hoping and praying after the last few Phase 4 movies that Wakanda is better than that, but I don't know.
And that's the thing that I think that it could be a problem because like the thing is like Wakanda Forever shouldn't have to be the movie that saves the MCU. Like that's too much of a burden for it. It should just be a good Black Panther movie. And unfortunately, because of the track record that they've had, it's you gotta hope that they're gonna do something to turn the ship around. But that shouldn't be on this kind of film. It's kind of like I said, an Ant-Man type situation where it just should be like a middle of the road good Marvel film that's enjoyable, right? I mean that you're not expecting anything. You shouldn't be expecting anything deep and epic and amazing like a Captain America movie or a Thor movie.
Right. Did you see the latest trailer
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Wakanda Forever?
yeah,
So, I mean, it to me it looks like there's some really good moments in there.
possibly.
Yeah. I mean, there could be.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
it. I mean, you have several challenges. I mean, the first Black Panther movie was, I think, really good in a lot of ways, but I think in order to tell the story that they told, they kind of played fast and loose with logic in a couple places, and of course, the CG towards the end was kind of lame. But the other part of it is that you have the challenge of following up one of the better Marvel movies, and then you also have the challenge of Chadwick Boseman, not being able to
not
return as his role. So I mean,
exactly.
it's got a lot against it already out of the gate. So I'm willing to um come with it with that understanding as opposed to having crazy high expectations of the film.
Right. Oh,
So
that's good. But I do want to say too that um, I am looking forward to Black Adam.
when's that coming out?
It's coming out next week, I think.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay.
I guess we could talk during the week and make a decision if we're going to go.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to go.
Uh-huh.
Uh, there's a lot of characters in there
Yeah.
that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay.
so definitely want to see how they do Hawkman and
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Fate. So we'll see.
Sure.
But anyways, so seeing as how we're basically done with this episode, I'm thinking that next week maybe it'll be a little longer show.
Could be.
Yeah, it depends on what we do.
Yep.
So I guess we'll discuss that during the week.
Yep.
And if nothing else, then I'm done.
All right. Good. Well, thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next week with something else, either Black Adam or maybe even something in the spirit of Halloween. But until then, goodbye.
Yes.
God bless.
Yes. Goodbye. God bless. And tell your friends.